Hi guys, my name is Jessie and thank you for clicking on this. If you have clicked on this video, it's because you want to know how to get big beachy waves like this in not too long a time. I have figured out this and mastered it after I got tape extensions last November in 2018, and I found that it was just taking way too long to curl my hair the way that I used to without tape extensions. And so I wanted to show you the way that I figured out to do it in 15 minutes each day. So before I get started with the heat curling and the tongs, I just want to preface that half of my hair is heat styled, half of it is not, and that is because every night, the night before, I put my hair in a braid. And what this does is it actually creates it creates like a wave for you already, so half of your work is done. So if you don't know how to do a braid, maybe I will find a YouTube tutorial for you and link it below, or I'll just make one later on and then link that below. But for now, the night before, just put your hair in a braid, sleep in it, and see how it turns out the night before. Hi guys, so this is what my hair looks like when I wake up in the morning after I put my hair in a braid. So the back is kind of just like a big mess at the moment, and all of these parts have fallen out only because they were really I washed it last night. So if I didn't wash it last night, it would actually stay in its place. So it's actually better like a couple nights later to maintain the braid, but because it was washed, they've fallen out. So last night I used the OGX shampoo and conditioner, the Miracle Oil. This is a really good one from their range because it's sulfate, keratin and protein free, which is really good for your hair tape extensions. I find that shampoo makes your hair really soft. And then after that, all I put in was the coconut Miracle Oil, just throughout, from maybe like where your ponytail would start, all the way through your ends to keep it hydrated and soft. So last night I blow dried it to about 97% dry, and then I put it into my braid. And so this is how the waves look today. I'll put that back. So you get just a nice soft wave through there. And the reason that I really like to do these braids is because it means that 50% of my curling is done. It means that I don't have to worry about like the bulk of my hair having to go through the heat styling. And so that's why I really like to do that every single night. So I'm now going to show you how I quickly get these beach waves starting from this template. So first things first is we need to section the hair anyway. I always start from the bottom because it makes more sense to style your hair from the bottom. So I'm just pulling majority of it up like this. You're of course going to see my tape extensions all through this, but that's fine because I'm just styling, right? Alright, so for this I like to use a paddle brush. This one is from Squincy. I've had it for years. It's really good quality. Aveda also have a really good paddle brush that I like to use. Alright, so that's pretty much all the wave that I want, really. The only thing is you'll see here is this like straightness at the end. So I just like to fix up those straight bits by pulling up and down around my tong. The hot tong that I'm using is by Halo. It's called the Jessica. And can you see how the ends here just kind of marry into that already braided end, but without having the straight bit, it's just got that little curl at the end, but it's still like a bit straight. So I'm just going to take all those little bits and bounce it. And the reason that I bounce this is that so all the heat does not sit on one part of the hair, and I always just grab it and scrunch it together to keep that heat in. I feel like if you drop it straight away, the heat doesn't really stay in. And there was one little bit that was sticking out, so I'm going to go back and fix that. So you can already tell the difference between these ends and these ends. And I'll just brush it out for your reference. So this looks quite unnatural, and this has like a really beautiful natural finish, and I did not put any heat through this because it was braided. If it doesn't turn out kind of nice like that, then by all means go through it with a hot tong, and I maybe would make another video how to do that. So now I'm going to take the Iron Co Outer Space hairspray. It's like a flexible hairspray. I don't really know what that means, but I'm just gonna put that through all of that. The reason I like this hairspray is because you don't actually feel it in your hair at all. It doesn't add any kind of like crunchiness or anything. It keeps your hair really, really soft. And as you can see, there is like a natural wave through that because of the braid. Again, this is why I love doing that braid at night, so it saves me so much time in the morning putting heat through it. But as you saw, I had a lot of like fallout from the front, so I'm gonna go over that and I'm show you how I do that exactly. So my haircut, or just like the way that my hair is growing right now, there are little shorter bits like this. This is on my natural hair, so I'm just going to pull that away from the longer parts and then tong that separately. And again, I'm using that bouncing motion just so there's even distribution on all of the hair and from root to tip. And there's a little curl. And as you can see, here are my tapes and here's some natural hair. I'm going to do that all together because if you do your tape extensions and your natural hair separately, it gets very, very obvious because your curls tend to separate throughout the day. So I'm actually going to start from the root because this is actually quite high from the top, and this is my trick. My trick is, so you bounce from your roots to your mid-lengths for about, I don't know, however long you want, 5 to 6 seconds, maybe up to 8 seconds, and then from your roots to your mid-lengths. And I think that is the fastest way to do it when you have extra long hair. And there you go. You have your curl from your roots to your tips. The rest I actually think is enough, so I'm actually going to leave that. I think like maybe here, see how there's some straightness there? I'm just going to fix up that straightness at the ends, again using that bounce technique, because I'm not after like big volume curls. I'm just after like a natural beachy wave, something that's actually not natural to me because my hair dries dead straight. So saying natural beachy waves, it doesn't really apply to my natural hair. It's just a term. And because my hair is like so clean, you're not going to get the same hold as you would if you have like 2 to 3 year old, day old hair. If you want to have that 2 to 3 day old hair, I recommend this product called Soft Lacquer Heat Styling Spray. It's by Oribe and it is fantastic. I love this product. The only reason I'm not using it today is because it leaves this texture on your hair, and which is only really good if you want to feel like your hair has something in it or it holds or whatever it may be. I find that you're going to need to wash your hair a lot earlier in the week if you use more products. So I'm trying to avoid using as many products as possible. But that is a fantastic product if you really want like hold and some grit in your hair. And the reason today I'm not putting all this curls through every single part is because then it would look like every single curl in your hair is too perfect, if you know what I mean. I don't want every curl to look perfect and exactly the same, which is what tends to happen with these barrels. They look exactly the same, so I'm kind of having that separation between what a braided curl and a heat curl looks like. So we're coming to the straighter parts because these parts, as you can tell, aren't as wavy from that braid, and that's fine. I actually like to have a bit more volume through the roots here because, you know, around your crown is where you need your volume if you want volume, which is definitely my vibe. So I'm just grabbing this section here and I am just going to wrap and bounce. And I'm going to put that concentration on that root to get that volume. Again, if you want that volume, I recommend using that Oribe texturizing heat styler, or even just a dry shampoo. I recommend Batiste. It's fantastic for that. But because my hair's like just so clean, it's not going to get exactly the same volume as if I use a dry shampoo. Again, I'm just trying not to use too much product today because I don't want to wash my hair so quickly this week. I find that I've been washing it a lot because I've been going to the gym and oh my gosh, all the sweat and everything. It's making my scalp itchy. So obviously your hair is going to be very different to my hair, so you're gonna have to like do it on a case-by-case basis. My hair is different every single day due to these due to the braid. It changes all the time, so sections that I do will be different. Sometimes it'll take longer, but roughly I try to keep it to about 15 minutes. As you can see, I've got some of my extension in there, some of it out. And again, that is literally because if you do them separately, your extension pieces to your natural pieces, it's so obvious when it shows, and I've learnt that the hard way. And if you wanted to go blonde, like I do, but you don't really want your natural hair to take a toll like as much as I used to. I used to be so blonde. I'll insert a photo, and like that photo is like my natural hair. I loved it, but after a couple years of doing that to your hair, oh, your hair just does not like you know? So that's why I've inserted such bright blonde pieces, and like I love it because now my hair is healthy again, somewhat. It's hard to see, I know, but I'm just going to separate that into two little sections. And the direction that I'm going to go is not sideways but back like this now. And the reason is because I want that volume. And if I'm going straight back, then yeah, that's exactly the way it's going to go. I'm going to have volume like lifted like this, and I'm just turning this and bouncing it. If you are not used to hot tongs, I do recommend like wearing a glove. So they sometimes give you a glove. Otherwise, like an exfoliating mitt works, the ones with the fingers, or like inside gloves, which you can get when you you know, go boxing or something like that. I definitely have a couple burns on my body. That's what it is so far. I'm just going to do this last section, which is arguably probably the hardest section to do because this is the part that everyone actually sees. And I find is the part that I most often get wrong. So let's hope we get this part right for the video. Okay. So I'm going to start from back to front, just so you don't get confused. So there's a bit of a wave towards that end, so I'm going to focus my hot tong at the top here, just at the roots to the mids, because there was already that little wave at the end. You'll find that there's no like perfect number because every number is going to be different for every person, as in number of seconds that you're going to be putting your hot tong on your hair. For me, it's somewhere between 6 and 8, depending on how bouncy I want my hair that day. I haven't really been counting today because I've been talking, but again, like after some experience, you kind of just know. I'm going to use my soft lacquer, my Oribe, just in these parts here, for it to hold its shape a bit better. I find that these parts tend to drop so much. My natural hair like does hold a curl pretty well. However, tape extensions hold a curl so much better. I don't know why. At least the ones that I have, they're Russian hairs from J'adore Hair Supplies. They just hold the curl so well. Like it'll hold its curl until I wash it the next day. From when I put heat on it till I wash it the next day. Whereas my natural hair will probably stay in for the day and then I'll have to go over it again the next day. Okay, so it might look slightly crazy now, but here's your biggest trick. You can use the same paddle brush. Sometimes I use a different one. I mean a wider brush, but you gotta brush all your curls through. And Okay, I might have gone a bit ham on this side, but it's alright. This is how I style it down the middle, but when I go to take photos, for some reason I prefer it flipped. And the reason why is because I feel like if I get a side part and I flip it, there's so much more volume to it. Like, look at that. You could even go a bit more crazy. Like, despite that these curls are like kind of going the wrong way, I find that there's so much more volume to it. What do you think? So that is my beachy tutorial. You can do it middle if that's what your preference is. Sometimes I shoot middle, sometimes I don't. But so yeah, that's my look. I hope you enjoyed it. Thumbs up, subscribe. Please let me know what you think, if it was easy, if this works for you, if it's something that you're going to try, and let me know. And send me photos and tag me on Instagram because I would love to see how you do your beachy waves too.